Hi again guys, back with another unboxing. This one's come from HK Now store. Got a couple of pre-ordered puzzles in this one. So I've been waiting actually a couple of months for this parcel, so I'm really happy it's finally here. Excuse me. Yeah, before Christmas I'm pretty sure that I placed this order, but yeah, as I say, they were pre-order, so that's not a big deal, not a problem, to be expected. And oh, I finally got one. Everybody keeps saying they've got these small screwdrivers. I've never got one before, so I've finally got a small screwdriver. I'm not sure it's any use whatsoever, but oh well. Calvin's usual business card. Lots of packaging. And yes, this is what I was hoping was in here. Calvin has very kindly, if you've seen my Dying Gem 6 video, I've lost a bunch of stickers, and even though I didn't buy the puzzle from him, he's kindly sent me a set of stickers for it. I asked for them, obviously, he didn't just do it for no reason, but I actually offered to buy them from him, but he said don't worry, we'll put a set in there for you, and he has. But I mean, to be fair, I've spent hundreds and hundreds of dollars with his store over the last couple of years, so you know, it's not beyond the realms of expectations to get something like this for nothing, but still it's very nice that he's done so, and I do appreciate it very much. So anyway, let's get to the puzzles. Oh, what's this? A YJ leaflet. YJ Heart Cube leaflet. Well, I've already got a YJ Heart Cube, so I won't be buying one of those, but a bit of advertising, I don't mind. So yeah, I'm sure you can see from the box what's in this one. Ooh, I want this one to come out soon, hopefully. The Sun Cube is basically the Super Octo Star by Zem. mf8 are doing it. I don't think they've done it in collaboration with him though, unfortunately, which is a shame. But they did kind of have the idea and probably... Ah, not stickered. Okay. So this is the Curvy Copter 3. I was expecting it to be stickered, to be honest, but I don't mind. I'm not really not bothered. I'd rather have this than have stickers that, puzzles that came stickered badly. Blimey, there's some sharp edges on that actually, some very sharp edges. A bit of care required there, I think, actually, because I've turned it once and it don't want to go again. That's interesting. Let's try it again now. There we go. Yeah, these points here are, I mean, you're not going to slice your finger off or anything on them, but they're definitely sharp. If you catch them regularly, you're going to know about it for sure. But yeah, turning quality straight out of the box. Well, first thing to note is it has to be very, very precisely aligned. If it's not aligned, it's completely impossible to turn, it seems, at the moment. Unless it's just a bit of a breaking in issue that needs to be done, but yeah, there we go. Yeah, you can see, you probably heard the snap then, as it kind of broke itself in, and it's now turning perfectly on that one. And yeah, you can feel that one's kind of slightly catchy and grindy, but that will hopefully break in. If not, I can always take it apart, and yeah, I can feel that a piece of just fallen. Oh no, maybe not falling off. I felt like it's suddenly turned better. It's like probably pulled a small piece of plastic off the flashing that's remaining or something like that. So yeah, just in case you're not already aware, this is an edge turning puzzle. I was waiting for the black version. I kind of wish I got the stickerless version, just simply because it was available so much earlier. I've got the puzzle, another one in particular coming, that I bought a stickerless version because it's available earlier than the black plastic version, which is a bit annoying. I wish they'd kind of release them all together. It's very frustrating watching other people get these puzzles that you're really excited for, just because they've got it in a different kind of plastic to what you want. I always like to have my puzzles in black. I always prefer them in black, but yeah. Anyway, so I waited a couple of months for this. So it's an edge turning puzzle. It's just like the Curvy Copter. I'll show you more with them side by side once I've got the puzzle stickered. But the Curvy Copter cuts come around right to the centre of the face, so they meet in the centre, so that the two cuts from this side and this side meet in the centre of the puzzle. You can see that on this one, they actually overlap and they go past each other, and the same for the top and bottom, of course. And that creates these four kind of I don't know what you call these, to be honest, at the moment, because these are normally called petals on Curvy Copter, so I don't know what I would have normally maybe called these petals, but I'd find another name for those, and centres, and it creates those on every face, which obviously adds more pieces, which adds to the solving challenge. And this is a wonderful, wonderful puzzle anyway. It's very much like Tomsy's Curvy Copter 2, which he's only ever had 3D printed, but it's his is deeper cut. The actual cut begins halfway along the puzzle, so he actually eliminates these edge pieces which are equivalent to the edge pieces on the Curvy Copter. So this one, being slightly shallower cut, exposes those edge pieces again. So yeah, I will go away and sticker that, and I'll come back to you with some more thoughts once I've done that. Okay, so as you can see, I've got the Curvy Copter 3 stickered now. It looks absolutely wonderful. I really do love the way this looks. I mean, I always enjoy seeing black puzzles more than stickerless anyway, but this just looks absolutely wonderful, and much better than this stickerless as far as I'm concerned. And other people who've seen the photos have said the same thing actually, but yeah, wonderful looking. One minor issue with the stickers, I don't know how well it's going to show up on here, trying to get to reflect that. You can see this back left sticker is kind of folded over. It turned out it was like that on the sticker sheet, so I have contacted Calvin at HK Now Store to see if I can get a replacement set of green stickers so I can replace that one. But that's just it seems to, I think it got folded over or something by the sticker cutter, and yes, damaged it unfortunately. But anyway, that's just a minor issue really. I've done a little playing around with it and a bit of breaking in to try and get things moving better. It has broken a little bit, and I have made a little bit of a discovery. If you kind of, while you're turning this piece, what happens is this one will then be kind of locked up if you don't get it absolutely precisely aligned. But what I have discovered is if you gripping it with your left hand here, where you've got your thumb on the front, fingers on the back, if you squeeze it, the next turn should happen a lot easier. I don't know why that would be, but it certainly seems to be the case. So anyway, just a quick comparison with the other edge turners, as that's the whole point of having them in the video here. So we've got the helicopter cube here, the one that started it all. Unfortunately this one is a knockoff because I couldn't get an official version at the time when I bought it. Originally designed by Adam Cowan, I believe. I'm not 100% certain on that. I could be wrong. I haven't researched it. I really should have done. So, but anyway, this is the edge turning helicopter cube, the first edge turner that came out. Turns on every edge like so, but also does the jumbling move that I just did a moment ago without really thinking about it. Where you can turn it. I don't know exactly what the angle is, but to that position, and you can get the jumbling moves happening. Like so, which takes pieces out of their orbits and also causes bandaging. This one here is what they call the corner cutted helicopter cube. I have no idea why it's called that. I can only assume it lost something in the translation, and it does all the same things with the jumbling and the edge turning. After the helicopter cube came the Curvy Copter, designed by Tomsy. This is the official version, thankfully. Really superb turning on this. It really is absolute joy to play with, and once again you can turn it at that particular angle and you get the same jumbling happening. The difference between this one and the helicopter cube is that you've got these curved cuts which exposes what is a hidden edge on the helicopter cube. It's in there, but it's underneath the other pieces on the helicopter cube, and having these curved cuts, because they don't meet in the centre of that edge, exposes those. So you've got an extra kind of little dimension to the solve. It's not difficult to solve these edges or anything, but it just has a minor extra thing to it. You then got the Curvy Copter Plus, which unfortunately I've never sold, because every time I've tried, the catching has been so bad that it's eventually caused an explosion and I had to reassemble it. That happened 3 times in a row and I gave up. I've never done it again, unfortunately. I really should try and revisit it at some point, but I was struggling to motivate myself because I didn't want to assemble it any more times. But yeah, it does the same jumbling move, this one, but it's actually... I mean, I encourage you to watch other videos on it, but what happens is, on the Curvy Copter at this point, this piece would be bandaged, but because you've got this extra cut, you can then make another turn with this tiny centrepiece. And so finally we come to the one I've just received, the Curvy Copter 3. So once again, the edge turning does all the same things, but and it can also do that same jumbling move, of course. Which takes pieces out of the orbits, but of course this one takes more pieces out of their orbits because you've got the centre and the two petals that are going with it. However, if you look at the shape of the pieces, it's actually the same kind of shaped piece. It's basically this entire petal has been split into several pieces on this, so it's really just the same move. It's the same cut that is jumbling, if that makes sense, but it just, that cut happens to contain more pieces in it. So I could be wrong, but I don't really think that's going to add any extra difficulty jumbling wise, but we'll see at some point. I'm going to do what I normally do with this. The first time I solve it, I will solve it without jumbling to get an idea of how to solve it. Then I will scramble it again with jumbling after I've got the method down for solving it without jumbling, and hopefully see if I can achieve the solve again. So I've had a little play around. I have found a nice little 3-cycle for the what am I going to call them? Inner edges, I suppose, something like that. Yeah, inner edges. Let's call them inner edges, because these are the petal pieces, these are the corners, these are the edges. That's clearly going to be a centerpiece, and those are inner edges, I suppose. Oh, one minor point that, well, not so minor actually, one other point that I forgot to mention earlier. While I was playing with this after stickering it, the centre, the blue centre popped off, and it doesn't attach back on just by clicking into place, so I've actually had to super glue that back into place. There's kind of a little stalk underneath it that it attaches to, so I've had to super glue that back on. Hopefully I won't get any other clips. It took me a while to find it, it rolled under my desk. But anyway, minor problem really, if it, as long as it stays there and none of the others fall off. But yeah, I found a nice little 3-cycle for the inner edges. It swaps, I think it was that one, and that one, if I remember right. So yeah, hopefully, I think the centres are going to be fairly straightforward to solve, and then the inner edges should be able to be solved with setup moves in that 3-cycle I've found. So I think it's time to get this thing scrambled. I think it's going to look fabulous when it's scrambled. It really does look nice anyway. And oh yeah, squeeze, there we go. Couldn't turn it, squeeze the sides and it suddenly turns. Oh, almost done a nice little exchange there accidentally. I'm curious how I achieved that now. To get one piece in the middle of the blue face swapped. Oh, look at this, it's going to be wonderful when it's scrambled. Squeeze it, yep, there we go. I don't think I broke that one in by the sound of it, but of course I might have broken them in, but now I'm getting different pieces in, so they kind of need to wear in again now that you've got different pieces on those together on a face. But yeah, there's definitely a bit of flashing inside. I think I can tend to be able to feel it. I wonder if it's worth taking this one apart and removing it, or we'll see after a couple of solves, see if it's improved at all. But I still keep catching my fingers on these sharp pieces. I do need to take a little care with that, because that's going to get quite sore if I keep rubbing my fingers on those over and over and over again. But yeah, this isn't taking too long to get heavily scrambled at all. Let's try and make sure we get everything we can separated from neighbours that they belong with. That's not working too well with that orange bit there. There we go. I keep bringing another orange one. Oh well, you're always going to have some, especially on when you've only got 6 colours and lots of pieces. There's always going to be some next to each other that belong next to each other in solid state. That's the way of things. So yeah, I think we can call that just about scrambled. If I can turn this last piece that I wanted to turn, just give that a few twists there, since it was hard to turn, since we'll break it in a bit in the process. By the way, I do much prefer this printed mf8 logo. I think it looks nice, but also I don't dislike the gold ones, but every one of those gold mf8 labels I have on other puzzles have worn off by the time I've solved it for the first time, so they're completely pointless. I always put them on when I've stickered them myself, but they've always worn away before I've finished the first solve. It's very annoying. Okay then, I think I'm going to call that scrambled. I'll go away, hopefully be able to solve it, and I'll get back to you with some thoughts once I've done so. Okay then, so the Curvy Copter 3 is now solved again. Very fun puzzle this. It's still got some turning issues. Excuse the hand, by the way, I don't even just noticed that. Still got a few turning issues. It does break in somewhat. It definitely turns better than it did, but it's still a little bit catchy. You do have to, yeah, kind of be a bit careful with the alignment. But it's definitely turning better than it did when it first arrived. And I haven't lubed it, so you know that could obviously help. But yeah, you can probably hear still if it's this very slight misalignment, it kind of pops on the next move. But then, yeah, other than that, it's absolutely fine. No pops or explosions on it, thankfully, or anything like that. The blue centre cap that I had to glue back in place is thankfully still in place, and none of the others have come off, which is obviously good. Solving wise, pretty much as expected. I solved it as I thought I would. A lot of similarities with the Curvy Copter, and no new surprises in that regard. The only difficult parts were, I mean, the extra parts were the centres. They're easy to solve. These inner edges were the problem part, because they're really the biggest new feature of this. So that's what took the most effort. I said earlier that I found a nice 3-cycle for them, but having said that, and it worked perfectly. That's what I've used to solve the puzzle. However, it does require rather a lot of setup moves to get these pieces in the correct positions. I don't know if I said it before earlier, but my cycle moves this piece, and this piece. And to get the 3 pieces you need into those positions, I mean, early on it's easy because you can just kind of solve them one at a time. But once you get to the point where you've got to be a bit more methodical about them, it was quite difficult to get 3 pieces that I could move without breaking solved pieces into those positions. Lots of setup moves, and almost, well, I did re-scramble it a couple of times, and almost re-scrambled it a couple more on top of that as well. So yeah, remembering the setup moves I'd done, and the problem is once I'd done lots of setup moves, it kind of altered what I was looking at, to remember undoing my commutator, because it did vary slightly, the commutator I was using, depending exactly which positions which colours were in, and trying to remember which way round I'd done it by looking at what colours needed to go where again. It's easy when I haven't really had to do many setup moves, but when I've had to do a bunch of setup moves, that's all messed up, and I can't see where these pieces need to go back to. But yes, other than that, it's a lot of fun. Well, not other than that, with that, it's a lot of fun. I've really enjoyed solving this one. I've done the jumbling solve as well, and yeah, nothing new really to be found with that as far as I can tell. Everything went back where it belonged with the corners sort of thing. So yeah, the jumbling solve was pretty much as with a Curvy Copter or a helicopter cube when that's jumbled. So that's always fun to solve the jumbled puzzle, of course. So yeah, there's not really a lot else I can tell you about this one. It's a fun puzzle. It's definitely one I'd recommend. Don't expect absolutely fabulous turning quality, but it's not absolutely awful either. I will try lubing it and see if that improves things. But it's definitely, as I said, it's definitely broken in somewhat with solving it without the lube, and that always does help, because obviously breaking is just pieces kind of grinding against each other in position, and when you put lube in there, that kind of prevents that happening to some extent. So a couple more solves probably wouldn't go amiss either. But yeah, it's not an expensive puzzle, it's a nice price, and if you've got the Curvy Copter and things, it's definitely a nice little extension in difficulty, but it's not too hard to find a nice little 3-cycle for these inner edges. I found it relatively quickly. I had a good idea how I was going to try it even before I received the puzzle, and I had to make a slight modification to what I thought I would have to do to find a 3-cycle, but it actually only took me a couple of minutes to find a nice one. So yeah, all in all, a very, very fun puzzle, and a great one to add to your collection if you like these edge turners. Alright then guys, thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next time. Take care.